Do that all the time. We're going to call the roll of the legislators. Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams. Here. Legislator Sila Bino. Here. Legislator Carrier Salage.
Here.
Legislator Denise Ford.
Here.
Legislator Deborah Moulet.
Here.
Legislator C. William Gaylord III. Present. Legislator Howard Coppell.
Here.
Legislator Vincent Muscarella.
Here.
I am here. Legislator Ellen Birnbaum.
Here.
Legislator Delia DeRigi Witten.
Here.
Legislator James Kennedy.
Here.
Legislator Thomas McKevitt.
Here.
Legislator Laura Schaefer.
Here.
Legislator John Ferretti, the second. Legislator Arnold Drucker.
Here.
Legislator Rosemarie Walker.
Here.
Legislator Joshua Lafazan.
Here.
Legislator Stephen Rhodes. All 19 members of the Nassau County Legislature are present in the legislative chamber. Our first order of business is a resolution as to procedure to appoint a clerk pro tem of the Nassau County Legislature pursuant to Nassau County Charter Section 110, subsection 1. I hereby nominate Michael Pulitzer as clerk pro tem of the Nassau County Legislature. Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator Walker seconds that motion. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I'll entertain a motion to close the nominations. Moved by Legislator Muscarella, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. All in favor of closing the nominations signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nominations are closed. I think the next order of business is a vote for the Mr. Pulitzer as clerk pro tem. All in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, carries unanimously. Obviously, your Bagel Tuesdays are very popular.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Legislator Nicolello. The next order of business is procedural resolution 2-2018, which is the election of the presiding officer pursuant to Section 106 of the Nassau County Charter. The legislator who receives the highest number of votes shall be the presiding officer, and the legislator who receives the second highest shall be the minority leader. Is there a nomination for presiding officer by the majority? Yes, sir. Is there a second? Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other nominations for that post?
No? I believe this is the right way to do this, correct? Okay.
Yes.
I nominate one of the most fairest leaders I know, Kavan Abrahams, to be majority leader, presiding officer.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Bino. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the nomination? Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor of closing nomination for presiding officer, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The nomination of Richard Nicolello and Kavan Abrahams are now before this legislation for a vote. I will now call the roll. Legislator Abrahams. You have a vote, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Who might that be?
I apologize. Abrahams, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Legislator Bino.
Abrahams.
Thank you, ma'am. Legislator Salage.
Abrahams.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Legislator Ford.
Nicolella.
Thank you. Legislator Moulet.
Abrahams.
Thank you. Legislator Gaylord. Thank you. Legislator Coppell. Legislator Muscarella. Legislator Nicolello. Thank you. Legislator Birnbaum.
Abrams.
Thank you, ma'am. Legislator DeRigi Witten. Thank you, ma'am. Legislator Kennedy. Legislator McKevitt. Welcome, by the way. Legislator Schaefer. Legislator Ferretti.
Nicolello.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Legislator Drucker.
Abrahams.
Thank you, sir. Legislator Walker. Thank you. Legislator Lafferzan.
Abrahams.
Thank you, sir. Legislator Rhodes.
Nicolello.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and members of this legislature, by a vote of 11 to 8, Richard Nicolello is hereby elected to serve as presiding officer of the Nassau County Legislature. And ladies and gentlemen, and members of this legislature, Kevon Abrahams, have received the second highest number of votes cast, is elected to serve as minority leader of the Nassau County Legislature. I will now call on presiding officer Nicolello to preside and to appoint members to serve as deputy presiding officer and alternate presiding officer. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Pulitzer. At this time, it is my privilege to appoint a deputy presiding officer and alternate deputy presiding officer. I'm proud to appoint Legislator Howard Coppell as deputy presiding officer and Legislator Denise Ford as alternate deputy presiding officer. So congratulations to both.
Thank you very much.
The next item of business is procedural resolution 3, that's 2018, which is a resolution as to procedure to appoint Michael Pulitzer as clerk of the legislature pursuant to the county government law of Nassau County. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Gaylor. Is there any debate or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Pulitzer.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank the presiding officer and the entire legislative body for expressing their faith in me. It's an absolute pleasure to serve all of you, and I do appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item of business is procedural resolution 4 of 2018 is a resolution as to procedure to adopt and establish the rules of procedure of the county legislature pursuant to county government law of Nassau County. Do I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Muscarella, seconded by Legislator McKevin. Is there any debate or discussion on this motion as to procedural rules?
Yep. So, presiding officer, we have also have put forth some of our own amendments to the rules of the procedure for the Nassau County Legislature. I just would ask that at this time that, even though I know some of our things probably need a little bit more clarity and a little bit more understanding and more explanation, I would ask that my counsel, Pete Kleins, get an opportunity to meet with your counsel, Mr. Ostuni, to be able to discuss those things in hopes that they could be advanced. Even though we are voting on the rules of the procedure of the legislature today, it's my understanding that we can vote and change these things throughout the year. So I would hope that Mr. Ostuni and Mr. Kleins can meet to further discuss that.
That we agree to that. There's going to have to be at least one technical change to the rules in any event in the next few weeks. So we will definitely be willing to sit down with you and discuss your proposed changes and see where that goes.
And then the other thing was, one of your amendments is regards to the mailing, which in the past have put forward legislation, and we are of the belief that you need to do this, or we need to do this by a local law, not by a rule of the procedure. We're going to support it today, as we're supporting all of the rules of the procedure that you're putting forward. But at the same time, we do think this would require some further discussion, because it is our understanding that this change would require a local law change than just the rules of procedure.
We will take a look at that.
I'm sorry, Pete. I'm sorry, Rich. And then we also believe it should be a 60-day moratorium.
All right. That is one of the, I guess, the substantive change in the rules that we're making today, which would be to prohibit mass mailings by county legislators within 45 days of an election or within 30 days of a special election or primary. There are some exceptions in the event that there are events in a district, a mammography van, for example. But this is the substantive change that we are making. We would certainly be willing to discuss with you whether a local law is required. It's our understanding at this point it's not, but if that in fact is the case, then we will certainly be moving by local law to adopt this. And we think 45 days is a reasonable time period. There's currently no rule or law in place in the county that prohibits mass mailings right up until the day of the election. So this is intended to prevent that type of mail to go out too close to the election, mail that's paid for but with taxpayers' funds. Does anyone else have any want to discuss this matter at all? All right. Hearing no further discussion, I would ask for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the rules carry unanimously. We now move on to Procedural Resolution 5 of 2018, a resolution as to procedure to establish a calendar for meetings of the legislature pursuant for the calendar year 2018. Is there a motion? Moved by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Kennedy. The calendar's before us. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the calendar is adopted. Resolution 6 of 2018 is a resolution as to procedure to establish a committee on economic and community development, labor, and transportation. Do we have a motion? Moved by Legislator Ferretti, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. That item's before the committee. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, carries unanimously. The Resolution 7 of 2018 as to procedure is a resolution to establish a committee on towns, villages, and cities. Is there a motion? Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Gaylor. Any debate or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, item carries unanimously. Resolution 8 of 2018 as to procedure is a resolution to establish a committee on veterans and senior affairs. Is there a motion? Moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Coppell. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, carries unanimously. Pursuant to Section 2211 of the Nassau County Charter, the members of the Nassau County Legislature representing two political parties as candidates who received the highest and next highest number of votes in the county at the general election in which the governor was chosen shall designate in writing an official newspaper and file this designation with the office of the clerk of the legislature. Both designations have been submitted. The Republican Party has selected Newsday as the official newspaper. I assume you guys have submitted the same thing. The Democratic delegation has submitted Newsday as well as the official newspaper. So there is no vote required on that? Okay, so Newsday is it. At this time, the floor is open for purposes of announcing committee assignments and the appointments of the chair and vice chair of all committees. Both Minority Leader and I will be announcing our appointments. I'm just going to run down the Republican minority, the majority members, and maybe, yeah. So here goes. I will be the chair of rules. Vice chair will be Howard Coppell. Stephen Rhodes will be on rules. Finance, Howard Coppell. I'm sorry, Laura Schaefer. Actually, Laura Schaefer will also be on the rules committee. Finance, Coppell is chair, Muscarella vice chair, Legislator McKevitt, Legislator Walker are members. Budget review, Muscarella is the chair. I'm the vice chair. Coppell is a member. Minority Affairs, Rhodes is the chair, Walker is the vice chair, Kennedy and Ford are members. Public Works, Muscarella is the chair, Gaylor is the vice chair, Schaefer and Kennedy are members. Public Safety, Ford is the chair, Rhodes is the vice chair, Muscarella and Ferretti are members. Planning, Schaefer is the chair, McKevitt is the vice chair, Rhodes and Ford are members. Government Services and Operations, Legislator Kennedy is the chair, Ford is the vice chair, McKevitt is a member, as well as Legislator Ferretti. Health and Social Services, Walker is the chair, Kennedy is the vice chair, Schaefer and Gaylor are members. Economic and Community Development and Transportation and Labor, McKevitt is the chair, Ferretti is the vice chair, Rhodes and Ford are members. Towns, Villages, and Cities, Gaylor is the chair, Schaefer is the vice chair, Kennedy and Muscarella are members. Veterans and Senior Affairs, Ferretti is the chair, Gaylor is a vice chair, Walker and Rhodes are members. Those are the majority appointments. Yeah.
Thank you, Presiding Officer Nicolello. For rules, ranking will be myself, along with Dirigi Witten and Bino. Finance would be Legislator Birnbaum as ranking, Legislator Drucker and Legislator Muley. Public Safety would be ranking Dirigi Witten, also Bino and Muley. Government Services, ranking Birnbaum, also Drucker and Lafazan. Minority Affairs, ranking Bino, myself and Muley. Economic and Community Development and Labor and Transportation, ranking Bino, Legislator Birnbaum and Muley. Veterans Senior Affairs, ranking Muley, also Dirigi Witten and Birnbaum. Towns and Villages, ranking Lafazan, also Birnbaum and Dirigi Witten. Planning and Economic Development and Environment, ranking Drucker, also Lafazan and Bino. And Public Works, ranking Bino, also Legislator Drucker and Lafazan. Health and Social Services, ranking Dirigi Witten, also Drucker and Lafazan. And Budget Review, myself and Legislator Birnbaum.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Okay, I think we're set with committees. Next item is I would like to put the full legislature in recess, and each committee will be called to order by the chair of the committees from their respective seat. Each committee will vote on their statement of purposes and their rules. The Budget Review Committee, as set forth in the charter, will not convene. The committees will convene in the following order. Let's start with the Veterans and Senior Affairs Chair, John Ferretti.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. At this time, I'll call the Veterans and Senior Affairs Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Ranking Member, Legislator Deborah Muley.
Present.
Legislator Dirigi Witten. Here. Legislator Ellen Birnbaum. Here. Legislator Steve Rhodes. Present. Legislator Rose Walker. Here. Legislator Gaylor. Present. And I am here. We have a quorum. We have two items on the agenda, and they are procedural resolutions number 1 and number 2. Procedural Resolution 1-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Veterans and Senior Affairs Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural Resolution 2-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Veterans and Senior Affairs Committee pursuant to the rule of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Rhodes. Seconded by Legislator Walker. These two items are before us. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Meta J. Merriday, Baldwin resident. I'm just, again, expressing what I'm hoping is positivity with regard to this new direction for this committee. Well, any direction for this committee. I was just overjoyed just to have the listings for the resolutions on the paperwork, because in the past it's just been blank with just a header page. So I'm hoping that we can work together collectively to come up with some real solutions, real programs, and real action plans for our veterans and their families. I am encouraged by those who are on this committee, and I look forward to working with you because the needs of our veterans are great, and they have been great, and they have been significant in this county and on Long Island. So again, I'm just hoping that we do have some real action plans, some real activities that can make a significant difference, because we do have the largest veteran population on Long Island in New York State and the Northeast Corridor. So again, I am trying to be very positive, as I said, very forward-thinking, and looking for a collaborative spirit from all who are involved, because our taxpayers are crying out, and our veterans are crying even more so. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to say. Welcome aboard, Legislator Ferretti, and all the new ones who are here. I welcome you, and all the ones who already know me, I'm still here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paraday. Any further public comment? There being none, all those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The items pass unanimously. There is no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? A second? I'm sorry, who made the motion? Legislator Rhodes made the motion. Legislator Walker, second. All those in favor? Aye. The committee is now adjourned. Aye. The committee is now adjourned.
Next committee is Towns, Villages, and Cities. Legislator Gaylor.
At this time, I will call the Towns, Villages, and Cities Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Joshua Lafazan. Ellen Birnbaum. Delia Derigi Witten. Vincent Muscarella. James Kennedy. Here. His Vice Chair, Laura Schaefer. Here. And myself. We're all present. We have a quorum. We have two items on our agenda, and they are procedural rules number 1 and number 2. Procedural Resolution 1 of 2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Towns, Villages, and Cities Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural Resolution 2-2018 is a resolution to adopt a proposed statement of purpose for the Towns, Villages, and Cities Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Muscarella. Seconded by Legislator Kennedy. These are the two items before us. Are there any debate or discussion? Is there any public comment?
Yes.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale, New York, and Happy New Year, happy and healthy and prosperous to everyone.
Likewise, happy to you as well.
Thank you. I'm just want to make a comment regarding Town, Villages, and Cities Committee. I would hope that focus would be put on hamlets as well. Hamlets have been left out of the vision of Town of Hempstead, the county, and we would hope that hamlets would be inclusive in this Town, Villages, and Cities Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Muraday.
Peter Meriday, Baldwin resident. Okay, as it pertains to, again, this particular component, I am also hoping that we can have more collaboration with our towns and villages, and as Ms. Jacobs previously spoke with regard to our hamlets, because they are truly underserved, and we need to start looking at creative and constructive ways to generate funding and resources. One major issue that's impacting all of us is our transportation infrastructure, or lack of same. So I am again hoping that we can better implement programs and incorporate the mayors and other elected officials at the local and community levels, because again, the residents that are looking for the resources and the help, they pay county taxes as well as their local municipalities, and we really have to think outside the box. We have to think collectively. It can't be one side or the other side. And like I said, let's be more creative, because, again, those of us particularly in these hamlets, we are suffering. The zombie houses and folks leaving out in the middle of the night, and we're just not doing what we need to do. And we know that, you know, right now we're being bombarded as it pertains to outside of our area, so we have to work more collectively, constructively, and hopefully compassionately together in this new year. So again, the same with Veteran Services. I'm hoping to see more actual recommendations and programs and real proactive solutions on this list when we come to these meetings and hear the discussion about how our money, our hard-earned money, is being spent for related services in these particular areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faraday, and again, thank you, Ms. Jacobs, for your comments. Any other further public comment? All right. All those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. There's no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, briefly, if I may.
Somebody else. Yes. Legislator Lafazan.
I look forward to working with you, and I thank you for your service to this nation. Regarding the Committee on Towns and Villages, and for all committees, I just hope that when we discuss rules of procedure change, we'll also discuss rules of procedure change for committees, in addition to the general meeting.
That's a good point. Point well taken. Thank you. Motion by Muscarella, seconded by Kennedy. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Committee's now adjourned.
Next committee, Economic and Community Development, Labor and Transportation. Chair Thomas McKevitt.
At this time, I'll call the Economic and Community Development, Labor and Transportation Committee to order. I'll act as clerk and call the roll. Ranking Minority Member, Legislator Bonneau. Legislator Birnbaum. Legislator Mineola.
Here.
Legislator Ford. Legislator Rhodes. Legislator Ferretti. And I am present as well. We have a quorum. We have two items on the agenda. They are procedural resolutions number 1 and number 2. Procedural Resolution 2-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Economic and Community Development, Labor, and Transportation Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural Resolution 1-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Economic and Community Development, Labor, and Transportation Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ferretti and seconded by Mr. Rhodes. Two items before us. Is there any debate or discussion in the legislature? Any public comment?
Yes.
Please come forth. State your name for the record.
Not a problem. Rita J. Merriday, Baldwin resident. Yes, these all tie in together as it pertains to me as far as economic development, transportation, all of this. Starts with me with regard to our underserved veterans and the need to improve our veteran development component. 2 years ago, the former legislator, now county executive, Laura Kern, and I put forth legislation that this body passed unanimously, but has been gathering dust. And I'm hoping that that gets revived. I'm hoping that we can go boldly into 2018 with some economic empowerment and transportation infrastructure projects that are geared towards providing support and resources not only for our struggling veteran businesses, and many of you may not know, and even the county executive was surprised to find out that on paper, according to the Census Bureau, there's over 11,000 veteran-owned businesses just in Nassau County. 11,000. We have no idea what they do, how big they are, how many people they employ. That's sad that we have that. And we have over 80,000 veterans in Nassau County. We need to do better. So again, there's a 2-year-old bill that's, again, been gathering dust that was unanimously approved and signed by the previous county executive to begin the process to develop a clearinghouse, a directory, and training services to empower our veteran-owned businesses who can then hire veterans who are leaving here in bulk and reinforce the veteran community on a regular basis as opposed to just on those special holidays. So, again, I am hoping that those individuals who are serving on these committees will kind of think outside the box because we have people that are living in dire straits. Thank you. And for those who say I keep leaving time on the clock, I'm just getting warmed up for the year.
Any other public comment?
Pro Jacobs Union Deal. Viable transportation is key to a sustainable and viable community. For example, the development that's going on at the hub, which is located in Uniondale. Perhaps with the extension of the rail that already is in existence there that crosses over Quentin Roosevelt Boulevard, that would be a good and viable solution to transportation issues at the hub, and it would bring economic and sustainable development to the hub, and would have a positive impact on the economic development of Uniondale as well. Thank you.
Any other public comment? There being none, all those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The item is passed unanimously. There being no other business in front of this committee, may I have a motion to adjourn? So moved by Mr. Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Ford. All those in favor? Therefore, the committee is now adjourned.
Next committee is Minority Affairs. Chair is Steve Rhodes, Legislator Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. At this time, I'll call the Minority Affairs Committee to order. I'll act as the clerk and call the roll. Legislator Bino? Here. Legislator Abrahams? Here. Legislator Millet?
Here.
Legislator Millet, welcome.
Thank you.
Legislator Ford?
Here.
Legislator Kennedy?
Here.
Legislator Walker?
Here.
And I am present. We have a quorum. We have two items on the agenda, and they are procedural resolutions number 1 and 2. Procedural resolution number 2 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Minority Affairs Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural resolution 1 of 2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Minority Affairs Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion on both of these items? So moved by Legislator Walker. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Legislator Kennedy. And the two items are before us. Is there any debate or discussion on these items? Is there any public comment? Ms. Meredith.
Nita J. Meredith, Baldwin resident, and again, I do want to welcome my legislator. Legislator Millet, definitely welcome. And Legislator Rhodes, I definitely look forward to working with you and your committee in regard to this, and I would ask that in this particular aspect that there is a review of the actual statement of purpose so that it gets a little more teeth to it as it pertains to establishing some true benchmarks and some end-of-year documentation that kind of proves that the actual process is working. Because to date, I don't feel that we have really put together any documentation that supports the true nature of the inclusion process, and I think that would be a helpful item for whoever is selected as the Inspector General, because the whole purpose of not just the contract review to ensure that there is no corruption and patronage and things of that nature is that there is inclusion of minorities, women, veterans, LGBT, and to date, we do not have those benchmarks in place in Nassau County, and unfortunately that makes us vulnerable to prosecution. And as we all know, we do have some significant legal fees already. Let's try to work proactively so that we can save the taxpayers money, at least in that regard. So that would be my suggestion with this, and I welcome, again, any ideas and look forward to working with all those who are on this committee. Thank you.
We appreciate your comments, Ms. Meredith. Ms. Meredith, thank you. Any other public comment? All right, there being none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of adopting the rules, please signify so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The items pass unanimously, and there being no other business in front of this committee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Legislator Walker, second by Legislator Kennedy. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. We stand adjourned.
Next committee is Planning, Development, and the Environment. The chair is Legislator Laura Schaefer.
This time I'll call the Planning, Development, Environment Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Legislator Drucker?
Here.
Legislator Lafazan? Here. Legislator Bino? Here. Legislator Ford? Here. Legislator Rhodes? Present. Legislator McKevitt? Here. And I'm here. We have a quorum. Okay, we have 2 items on the agenda. They are procedural resolutions 1 and 2. We're going to start with 2 for some reason. Procedural Resolution 2-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Planning, Development, and the Environment Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural Resolution 1-2018 is a resolution to adopt a proposed statement of purpose for the Planning, Development, and the Environment Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Can I have a motion? So moved by Legislator Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Ford. Okay. 2 items before us. Is there any debate and discussion on these items? Okay. Any public comment on these items? Okay. All those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The item is passed unanimously. There's no other business in front of this committee. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Legislator Rhodes, moved by Legislator Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Ford. All right. Committee's now adjourned. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Okay. The committee's now adjourned.
Government Services and Operations Chair, Legislator James Kennedy.
This time I'll call the Government Services and Operations Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Ranking Member Ellen Birnbaum. Legislator Drucker. Here. Legislator Lafazan. Here. Legislator Ferretti. Here. Legislator McKevitt. Here. Legislator Ford.
Here.
And I am here. We have a quorum. We have 2 items on the agenda, and they are procedural resolutions number 1 and 2. Procedural Resolution 1-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Government Services and Operations Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural Resolution 2-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Government Services and Operations Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Denise, Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. These 2 items are before us. Oh, sorry. Seconded by Legislator Ferretti. These 2 items are before us. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item passes unanimously. The items pass unanimously. There is no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Legislator Ford. Seconded by Legislator Ferretti. All those in favor? All right. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Committee is now adjourned.
Health and Social Services Chair, Rosemarie Walker.
Good afternoon, everyone. At this time, I will call the Health and Social Services Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Ranking Member Delia DeRiggi-Whitten. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Legislator Josh Lafazan. Legislator C. Gaylor.
Here.
Legislator Schaefer.
Here.
Legislator Kennedy.
Here.
And I am here. We have a quorum. There are 2 items on the agenda, and they are procedural resolutions number 1 and number 2. Procedural resolution number 1 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Health and Social Services Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Procedural resolution number 2 is a resolution to adopt the opposed rules of procedure of the Health and Social Services Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion, please? By Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Kennedy. These 2 items are before us. Is there any debate or discussion? Is there any public comment? Yes. Okay, Ms. Meriday.
Yes, again, Meta J. Mariday, Baldwin resident. Health and Social Services, again, a very important committee, and I'm sure those of you who have been assigned to serve on this committee take that responsibility not lightly, and we are encouraged by that aspect. Again, as I said with one of the previous committees, it is my hope that there is a review and an update on the policies and the processes in light of certain conditions and circumstances that are taking place across the country, as well as in Nassau County as it pertains to sexual harassment. We can't just walk around and say, yes, we do training, if, one, we don't know what that training is, and two, we don't really know what is happening in our agencies and departments and the wherewithal to provide resources for those who may be in jeopardy or feel that they're in jeopardy when they're in their job. Also, we have a cultural diversity problem in this county, and we need to address that. And as we say, this is the Social Services Committee. The Social Services Department really is the front line for resource and support for our residents who are in need. And I myself, having conducted workshops at that facility because of experiences that I witnessed firsthand with a number of my veterans in terms of trying to get them assistance there, there's a problem. And we cannot shove it under the rug, push it behind a door, or try to put what some people would call pretty on top of stink. So that's why I'm calling attention to that. And health care is the largest employer on Long Island and in Nassau County. But our health services and our resources, particularly for individuals getting to their various positions, again, ties into the transportation issue. So we need to start looking collaboratively, inter-committee, as far as generating the resources that our residents need and the resources that our employees need who work for this county and serve the needs of the residents. So just wanted to put that point out there, as this is a reorganization meeting. We need to be fully engaged in getting not only reorganized but re-energized, because our residents need to hear that vote of confidence that was put out there back in November, that change will be the order of the day, because we can't go back to the way it was. So we're all looking forward to working together and moving forward. But the important thing is we have to move, and the direction that we have to go is forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faraday. Any other public comment? I'm seeing none. These two items are before us. All those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. There's no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? By Legislator Gaylor, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. The committee is now adjourned. And next is
Public Safety
Public
Committee?
Safety.
Yep. Chair Denise Ford.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. At this time, I will call the Public Safety Committee to order. I will act as clerk and call the roll. Legislator Millay?
Here.
Legislator Bino?
Here.
Ranking Member Legislator DeBridge Witten? Okay. Legislator Muscarella?
Here.
Legislator Ferretti?
Here.
Vice Chair Legislator Rhodes? And I am here. We have a quorum. We have two items on the agenda, and they are procedural resolutions number 1 and 2. Procedural Resolution 1-2018 is a resolution to adopt the proposed statement of purpose for the Public Safety Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion? By Rhodes, seconded by Muscarella. These two items are before us. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor of adopting these rules? Oh, should I didn't see you raise your hand. Sorry, I didn't see you raise your hand.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. Public safety, of course, that's paramount for any city, any county, any town. And I do applaud the legislator how they support our Nassau County Police Department. I would continue to, as a resident and taxpayer, to continue to ask that the Nassau County Police Department be supported just in the way you have been supporting them. Also, regarding some areas in Nassau County, there are areas in Nassau County, and Uniondale is one of them, a hamlet, that is in need, of course, of more robust public safety, Nassau County Police Department protection, and I would hope that, you know, you would look at it in a broad sense and then see what areas. I do understand, of course, that overall the crime stats are saying that crime is going down in Nassau County, but that's just an overall broad perspective. We have to find out where the crime stats are actually rising and put resources there to protect our residents. Thank you.
And thank you very much for your comments. Okay. All those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is passed unanimously. There is no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Muscarella. All those in favor?
Aye.
The committee is now adjourned. Thank you.
Next committee is Public Works and Parks. Chair is Legislator Vincent Muscarella.
Okay, I call the committee to order. I will act as the clerk. Legislator Kennedy.
Here.
Legislator Schaefer.
Here.
Colonel Gaylor. Legislator and Ranking Member Bino.
Here.
Legislator Drucker. Legislator Lafassan. We do have a quorum. There are two items. They are procedural resolutions 1 and 2. Procedural Resolution 1 of 2018 is a resolution to adopt a proposed statement of purpose for the Public Works and Parks Committee pursuant to the rules and procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. May I have a motion, please? Motion by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Kennedy. The items are before us, or the item is before us. Any public comment, any discussion? Ms. Meriday.
Major J. Meriday, Baldwin resident, and unfortunately, I hope that there would be more residents here, but unfortunately, day meetings are not very convenient. Public Works is something that is very significant for many of us, all of us, when we talk about our roads and contracts and things of that nature. And again, I cannot restate it enough that the policies and procedures that have been in place, I'm hoping that they get a review and an update as it pertains to the changes that the body voted on, particularly with an incoming Inspector General, that the contracting as well as the outreach and the inclusion, the model that was broken, that was ineffective in the past, will not be just used because that's the way it's always been done. We have to start looking at how we are more inclusive and more engaging, and how we can go about being more aggressive and assertive in making that happen. So that's why I am stressing emphatically for those who are on this committee that we do engage that a little bit more, that we don't see the rubber stamping and just asking the questions because you all are representing our interests. So when we're in these public settings, we need to hear from you. We don't know what happens in your caucus meetings behind closed doors. We need to hear what you're saying, and we need to make sure that it is heard and on the record. Because, you know, too many people are getting their news about our tax dollars from Newsday. And that's your designated publication. That's all well and good. But we didn't elect Newsday. We elected all of you. So we're looking to you to speak to our interests when we are here, for those of us who have to be here and still have to go about our daily routine to pay the second highest taxes in the country. So, again, this is for those who may not know who I am. That's not important. But I'm just hoping that you hear what it is that I am saying, because I'm not speaking in a vacuum. So there are those, our businesses out here are hurting, all of our businesses, majority, minority, the veteran-owned businesses. We need to have the representation that's been elected to speak to our needs, and we need to hear what our representatives are saying on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meriday. Before I call for a vote, I'm also going to call Procedural Resolution 2 of 2018, which is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of procedure of the Public Works and Parks Committee pursuant to the rules and procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Any other discussion on that? Any public comment? Okay, all those in favor of adopting these rules, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes are above the noes. The item passes unanimous. The items pass unanimously. There being no other business, a motion to adjourn. Moved by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Colonel Gaylor. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Next committee is Finance, chaired by Legislator Howard Copel.
I will call the Finance Committee to order, and I'll call the roll. Legislator Walker, Legislator McKevitt, Legislator Muscarella, Ranking Member Bino. You're not in Finance, so who do we have? Drucker. So, sorry, Birnbaum. I had a B. So you were talking, Kavan was talking a little bit too quickly. It's okay. So it's Legislator Bino. No, I'm sorry, Legislator Birnbaum. Thank you. Legislator Drucker and Legislator Muley.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We've got a quorum. We've got two items on the agenda. Procedural resolution number 1 of 2018 is to adopt the statement of purpose for the Finance Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. All right, so we have a motion by Legislator Muscarella, seconded by Legislator Walker. All those in favor? Oh, well, actually, now, is there any public comment or any debate? Legislator Birnbaum.
Yes. I sit on several committees, and this one I'm the ranking chair, and I would like to address you as chair of the committee and other chairs of the committees that in the spirit of bipartisanship, I think it would be recommended to recognize a member of the minority to either make a motion or second a motion on these committees. Chairman, did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Did you heard what I said?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was making a recommendation that the chair, in the spirit of bipartisanship, either would allow a member of the minority to either second a motion or make a motion. Thank you.
Okay, sounds like a plan. I've got one more item, and that's Procedural Resolution 2 of 2018, which is to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Finance Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature, and that motion is by Legislator Birnbaum and seconded by Legislator Walker. All those in favor of the two motions now? All those in favor? Anybody opposed? It's adopted unanimously. There are no other items before the committee, so there's a motion to adjourn, again made by Legislator Birnbaum and seconded by Legislator Drucker. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Calling the Rules Committee to order, and I will act as clerk and call the roll. Ranking Member Kavan Abrahams. Legislator DeRizzi Whitten. Legislator Bino. Legislator Schaefer. Legislator Rhodes. Legislator Copel. And I am here, so we have a quorum. We have 3 items on the agenda. The first 2 items are Procedural Resolution 1 of 2018, which is to adopt a statement of purpose for the Rules Committee pursuant to the rules of the procedure of the Legislature. Procedural Resolution number 2 is a resolution to adopt the proposed rules of the procedure of the Rules Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the Nassau County Legislature. Moved by Legislator DeRizzi Whitten, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. These 2 items are before us. Any debate or discussion on this committee? Any public comment?
Mita J. Meriday, Baltimore resident, one of my voice of the county. Anyway, I just wanted to have a question as it pertains to when the public is going to get access to the information about Rules Committee, the meetings, the dates and things of that nature, so that we can, encourage other residents to try to be able to act accordingly. And if there had been any consideration with this body to possibly try to have something in the evenings for residents to have more accessibility to attending the meetings. And I do want to recognize Legislator Birnbaum. Good for you. You know, that's what this is about. You know, this is what this is about, that all voices, you know, all hands on deck. And, you know, if you're going to have to take the heat for it, you want to be able to speak up for it. So if I could get an answer as it pertains to that, because particularly as it pertains to the Rules Committee, that's a very important meeting that more residents should be in attendance to speak from the public perspective, because that's when more of the information and details are heard before the full ledge meeting occurs, when all the deals have basically been cut. So that's pretty much my comment.
Thank you. Ms. Meriday, the Rules Committee agendas are posted or published on 7 days before the meeting and are published on the Internet by the clerk's office at the same time. The items are published 5 days before the meeting, and they are posted on the Internet county's website also 5 days before the meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Poles?
That is correct, Presiding Officer.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any other public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the items carry unanimously. The next item is procedural resolution number 3 of 2018, which is a resolution to adopt the rules of procedure and statements of purpose of all standing committees of the Nassau County Legislature pursuant to the rules of procedure of the county legislature. Motion by Legislator Coppell, seconded by Legislator Bino. The items before us. Any debate or discussion? Hearing none. Any public comment? All in favor?
Just a point of clarification. So are you saying that the vote on the table now is to support all of the statements of purpose for every committee without any changes or recommendations?
Yes, it's basically, I guess, we adopt what every committee has just adopted. It's readopted by the Rules Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure of the county.
Okay, but if there are any recommendations, would that have to again come before this body, or is that something that would have to come out of the committee to the body? I'm just trying to be clear. If we're carrying over the same information without an opportunity to enhance, improve, just asking.
Yeah, I think the procedure would be the committees would then change their rules, and then the Rules Committee would have to adopt those changed rules as well. So the change would come up from the committee itself.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, item carries unanimously. There's no other business to come before the committee. I have a motion to adjourn by Legislator Schaefer and a second by Legislator Abrahams, Minority Leader Abrahams. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. The committee is now adjourned. Yes, we basically are. Full legislature is reconvened, and I will call for a motion for the full legislature to adjourn. Moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Drucker. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The 12th meeting of the Nassau County Legislature is adjourned. The first meeting is adjourned. Is there any public comment?
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too. So we are adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good job.